BCA, and I will be your moderator today. I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Risk Mitigation, How to Prevent Floods and Water Damage, which is going to be facilitated by Water-Protec and Baptist Housing. This webinar is presented by BCMPHA in partnership with Water-Protec today. So I would like to start by acknowledging that this webinar is being delivered from various locations on the unceded traditional territories of the unceded Coast Salish territory of the Lekwungen, Songhees, and Swanek nations. We acknowledge that many of you are currently located in the ancestral homelands of indigenous peoples across the province, each with their own unique traditions and history. Before we begin, I will give you a brief outline of the format. The presentation will be approximately 90 minutes, followed by a break period of an open question and answer period. Our goal is to finish up by 12 p.m. At any point during the session, please feel free to type in your questions at any time by using the chat feature. We will then do our best to address all questions during the open Q&A segments. Also, this webinar is being recorded and the audience will be muted, which means that you can hear us, but we won't be able to hear you. Again, please type in your questions using the chat feature. A recording of this webinar will be sent out within a day or so, so you will be able to access the presentation there, so you don't have to worry about missing something today. Also, at the end of the session, we will send out a quick evaluation survey to everyone, and we would appreciate you taking a minute or so to complete it. Also, these sessions are being brought to you by our BC and PHA education partners, whose support has enabled online professional development opportunities for the community housing sector. Now, I'd like to introduce our presenters. Francois Bedard. He is the CEO at Water-Protec. Francois started at Water-Protec in 2015. He has had an extensive experience in reducing water damage claims. Also, Francois worked with major insurance companies such as Aviva, Intact, Desjardins, ProMutual, SGI, among others, to develop programs to help support the prevention of water damage claims in Canada. He's been instrumental in developing a program for BCMPHA and its members with the help of Aviva, March, and BCMPHA. Also today with us is going to be Sean Bremner. He's the Director of Maintenance at Baptist Housing. Sean is a Red Seal carpenter that has been involved in various roles from business owner to project manager in the construction trade for the past 26 years. He's also grateful to work for an organization that sees the value in the use of technology and is willing to invest in their buildings, systems, and team members to provide a high level of wellness to their residents. So please now welcome Francois and Sean.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's been a long ways, 7 years that it took to basically convince insurance companies to start making programs to help their clients put in water detection systems inside their properties in order to save claims. As you probably know, it's very simple. Water damage is the #1, and I deal with the Intacts of the world and the Avivas. And that 7 years ago, when we started talking with them, I would sit in boardrooms with executives of those insurance companies, and the first thing they would turn around and look for their actuaries to find out statistics about, okay, how much water is part of the overall claims, and to find out probably in the following 2 years that water is definitely the #1, and the problem is just increasing. And I must say that just to give you a little bit of statistics, 7 years ago, the consumer price index in BC went up from 0 to 12% increase in pricing. Water not only water, but the overall insurance policies went up 142% in the same period. So that tells you a little bit how damaged the water claims have come through. Maybe it's because of buildings that are getting older. The statistics that Aviva is sharing with us is very simple. The majority of the buildings are over 25 years old. And that's for them, they are saying that they are at the end of their useful life. So if there's no maintenance, there's no prevention, it's only going to get worse. And the proof is in the statistics that are coming out right now, because they're putting a lot of emphasis to track what's happening all over their property base. The average deductibles on commercial properties is also approaching $50,000. If I would tell you that there's 300 buildings in BC that are non-insurable. So imagine you have a mortgage company on your building that is supporting you, and you can't even provide them a certificate of insurance. So that's just to give you some. I know that in BC PHA, you don't have the same type of issues with regards to that, but it's only going to slowly but surely get to the same level if nothing is done. I have been working with Dean Pogus, which is no longer with BTHPA, about 3 years ago when we started the programs to work with the societies in order to put more and more emphasis on there is ways that you can reduce the claims. And that is being done right now with Aviva, that's partnering with the risk management people. They have looked at the Water-Protec system from A to Z in a matter of 2 years, where they looked at our technology. They made sure that the credibility of the system is there to make sure that we track and eliminate water by detecting it right at the source and closing the valves. A poor loss history based on what the insurers are doing on any building is going to follow in the near future. Well, not near future, for years to come. So putting a water detection system in and doing other risk mitigation programs within your buildings are what is going to make the difference for all of the society. And there's no way out. The loss history is always going to follow either the overall portfolio of BC nonprofit or per individual buildings. So there's things that can be done to prevent and to eliminate as many claims as possible. So we're going to give you a little bit of an idea today of what we can do with the Water-Protec system. And we have some testimony by having Sean that was nice enough to agree to share his experience, so that you see a bit of what is it in the real world and what happens and into the installation of a system, and some of the justification that he had to go through in the process to justify putting a system inside his property. So without spending any more time, I will go through the product so that you have an idea of what it does and what it looks like, and so you have a feel for it, so that we can try to get to because I'm sure that you people have got questions, and I want to put a little bit more emphasis on the Q&A, so that you have as much information as possible from this webinar. Next. Just a second, because I have a hard time looking at the screen. So really the product per se, next, Mauricio, we install, as you can see, the system right now, it's a motherboard. That's what we call the control panel. We have valves that, these are ball valves that you see on the left. We usually install 1 to 2 valves, depending if there's a hot water tank inside the units. If there's central hot water, then we need 2 valves, 1 for the hot and 1 for the cold. We have sensors that are wireless, that are placed in strategic locations within the units, and that we also have detecting wires in areas that can be attached to a sensor, where we can cover, for example, if there is laundry room where there's a bunch of washers and you want to cover that, sometimes it's good to use it with the detecting wire instead of placing sensors in locations. The installation side is very, very important. We'll see that a little bit later on, because the product is 50%. The other 50% is, well, the other 40%, I must say, is installation, the quality of the installation, and 10% is the connectivity to make sure that we connect all the information so that we have immediate action when there is a detection. So we have a remote control that works with this system, so that if there is a detection, you can either close off the alarm and put up and re-establish the system without having to go to the board. So it's all little things that we've improved with the time. Everything is 12-volt DC power, except we have a battery backup inside the control panel in case there is a loss of power. So very important. Mauricio, next. I don't know if Mauricio is, are you there, Mauricio? Well, sorry about that. I don't know where Mauricio is. Okay, well, I'm gonna continue talking a little bit about the system. So as I was saying, the installation is about 40%, and what we mean by installation is that we have to make sure that we do the installation, including all of the different steps. So if we do place sensors in a bathroom, we're going to place it in we're going to look at the floor and see how it's leveled and make sure that it's placed properly so that the water catches the sensor catches the water and triggers an alarm. The other good thing about the product is that if there is temperature change that happens within the unit, if somebody left the windows open or whatever it is, if it goes to 5 degrees Celsius, below 5 degrees Celsius, we will close the valve automatically, and then somebody's got to turn it back on because there's a chance that the pipes might freeze. So little things like that have been done with maybe 20 years of restoration, which is a little bit the background of the company, that the division that we started, that it was part of our organization, was in restoration. So they had done so many water claims restoration that they put up systems that really were really focusing on that. Mauricio, are you back? I don't know where
Mauricio lost his Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, most probably. Okay, so not a problem. So I'll just continue. The one of the main concern that there is with insurance companies right now is to maintain the deductibles at a reasonable level. And one way to do that is by installing a water detection system that is certified the way that Water-Protec is. It took us, well, I would say 3 years to get to the level where we got our system approved by Aviva, and then also Intact Insurance and all the other ones that we mentioned before. So the fact that they have approved it meant that everything that we say that the system does has been checked by an independent laboratory. And this independent laboratory has provided tests which are available on all of the different components of the systems to make sure that the connectivity that is rated FCC has been certified and tested by an independent firm. So all the things that I'm trying to say is that system has been checked, verified, to make sure that it performs. The quality of the installation program that we've put into place with, let it be with Baptist, has been also verified. So when we do a certification of a building, there's, it's not impossible to have a water damage claim, but we can eliminate probably 98% of everything that can happen to affect the a claim. And let's say that we understand how difficult it is to relocate people whenever these situations happen, and there's let's say a flood that happens over 2-3 floors. It's never pleasant, and there's a lot of cost involved that each society I'm sure is living every day, and we have to make sure that we put an end to that. And that's been our focus, or my focus in the last 7 years. On top of that, we created an association, which is for all of the different manufacturers working with the insurance company, of which I lead. I'm president for the Water Damage Association for Canada, to make sure that we establish standards that are followed by the big insurance company, so that they do support societies or buildings or condo stratas to be able to support the fact that there is a system in there. And please understand that the deductible should be getting back to a normal if you had some bad situations. So I guess it's not very pleasant. I'm sorry that I can't go to your presentation, Sean, but I think we might have to re-sign, I guess, on. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to check with Tanya, that you there?
Yes, I'm here, Sean. So if you can share your slides, share your screen, that should be fine.
But will I have access to do that
Yes,
as not being a presentation or a presenter?
I'm just sharing that with you now.
Okay.
Okay, good.
There you go.
Well, I guess I asked Sean if he would volunteer to give us his experience, so you'll see that of what is involved in installing and justifying a water detection system inside well, in this case it's a member of BCNPHA, which is Baptist got 21 locations, Sean, if I remember right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So
they certainly have a lot of concerns, and you'll see that from his presentation. So
hi there, everyone. Can everyone see my screen? Or Tanya, can you see my screen? Just to verify it's working?
Yes, you're all good here.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. I probably have seen some of you at the conferences in the past, and at Baptist Housing, we have 25 buildings, and like you guys, we have seen some dramatic changes in some of our experience. One is the residences themselves getting older, our residents themselves aging, and then our insurance costs going up. So we decided we need to start looking at some options to be proactive on reducing our risk. And so we were fortunate as part of this process we had started looking at this kind of product, and we met with, sorry, I'm just trying to find it. We met Francois and his team at the Housing Central conference in 2019. And so we started looking at product before that, but this became a product that we decided through a conversation and presentation and seeing what the Water-Protec product had gave us reassurance that it was the right product for us. So just, sorry, going back to, so we had a repiping project in Abbotsford, which is this building, and then we are doing one right now as well in Vancouver at our Shannon Oaks building. So both of those buildings, the piping was aging, and so we had to do that. And then by adding the Water-Protec system, really made it easy for us, because I'll show you some pictures of our installation, that we were able to do some modifications to make it even more effective for us, where the placement was in that. So to share with you, why Water-Protec, why we felt Water-Protec was the best system for us, was its versatility and its customizable, and the complete technology of having the equipment, but also having the interface with the cloud and that. And then I think for us with concrete buildings, the RF frequency components seem to be the best product for us. We didn't want to just rely on Wi-Fi. We wanted that ability, and for us, we can, according to Francois and Water-Protec, we can, all of our floors on a concrete building will be able to be protected through that RF frequency, which is really important for us. So this is the installation in Hallmark. And so these are the controllers. And in these cases, one of them has 3 sensors in the suite, the kitchen, the bathroom, and the toilet. So we generally looked at putting it in wherever there was a water source. And the picture on the left has 4 sensors. And that one is because there's 2 bathrooms. So as I mentioned, the Water-Protec system and working with, and some of you might know Mana Plumbing. We've used them over the last 20 years to do repiping projects for us. And so they were going to be doing this repipe. And so we were able to connect them with the Water-Protec team. And then Water-Protec sent out some installers to help put it all together. This project we started for Hallmark in end of February, and we were done by May for the whole building. And since the Water-Protec system was installed in April, where it was kind of pretty much finished up, and then it was just getting painting and all that after, we haven't had any incidents of any water flood damage or anything. So the other thing we were able to do is all of the controllers and the valves are in the ceilings in the hallways. Again, for us, this was the most efficient way of doing it. In the buildings, the way the building was designed and built, all the piping ran through risers in the closets. And so having access to those closets with, residents, goods and books and all that made it really slow to get into those closets to shut off the water if there was some sort of issue. So we redesigned the system to have the controllers in the hallways. And that again was our choice, but it really gave us great control over that from a maintenance point of view and a speed in case we needed to get at these controllers and the valves themselves. And as you can see in the middle picture, we have the redundant shut off before the controller and the valves to even protect us even more. So that was a great solution that with Mana we figured that would be smart to do. So we can rely on the valves, but we can also turn it off manually before the valves. So
Sean, sorry
Yes.
for that. I'm back. Andrew
Okay.
has a question.
Sure, Andrew, go ahead.
Andrea.
Thanks, Sean. And thank you, Mauricio. One of my questions is, are these retrofits or are these new? This looks like fairly new construction, because one of the questions I'm firing off here to Tanya, actually, and I've got a list of questions on Post-it notes that I'm translating. So, for example, one of our buildings, and I'm just going to throw it at you, you can tell me yay, nay, or don't even go there, 25 years old, single, 1 bedroom, 20 unit, wood frame, 3-story units, all have individual hot water tanks. how many times we had those flooded from the toilets? Because, you know, it doesn't flush the first time. So 7 or 8 flushes are good or better.
Yeah.
Retrofitting something like that, we don't have suspended ceilings. Those are not, there's no concrete topper on those. The building's 25 years old, but it's in good shape. To retrofit something like that, I'm thinking, how the hell would we do that? And what kind of cost? And what would be the advantage from an insurance perspective? Because our bill in that particular building last year, I think, was about $75,000 for flood damage.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe Sean, I should give the answer. You can comment because of your experience, but I deal with buildings like that all the time, Andra. And the good thing is you have hot water tanks in each unit. Okay, that simplifies for us the installation. So what we need is an outlet where we plug the controller into the outlet, and then we install the valve on the water tank, and then we can cover each unit. And that's and place the sensors where we need to. So that's simple. And then what we do is we'll connect the 25 units through our cloud, and you can have it on your phone, on your screen, or your maintenance person.
I don't want it, but somebody else can have it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But exactly. So that's the way to do it. So for us, that's one advantage of Water-Protec, is that we have done so many installations. I'll show you some buildings down the road when we are at the end of the presentation. We've got quite a bit of experience there. And I mean, Sean is a bit of how could I say, an exception of all the people that we deal with. His knowledge of his buildings and his maintenance team is just out of the ordinary. So he did something that I think is very great. And as you can see, it's really something that we don't mind showing. It's really exceptional, but it's not a problem, what you're saying.
And what sort of a cost savings from an insurance perspective would we look at from a per unit?
Well, it's okay, you already have the damage done, meaning that you had years where you had claims. Obviously, we would probably give the certification. I mean, I'm sure you're insured with Aviva. Aviva will be, no? Okay, so you have it.
And actually, no, we have actually never made a claim because our
you paid it out of your operating budget.
No, because the minimum amount was a $50,000 per claim. Well, okay. We're never at $50,000, but you have 6 or 7 claims in a year at $25,000 a pop. It adds up pretty fast.
Yes. Listen, I think you have the perfect file to, each case is individual. It's hard to give you, but we usually are able to stop the bleeding, as we say, and then we can, as far as the rates going up and the deductibles going up, and get you something, probably not on the first year, but I would say in the second year you would see some reduced premiums or deductibles based on your property. No question about that. Let it be Intact, Aviva, and all the major. They are really up to speed with regards to efficiency of water detection systems. Not everyone, but the ones that, like for example, Water-Protec is definitely on top of the list. We've done our homework. We've made the technical justification that is required for them to have confidence in us, and so the rates, the underwriters take that into consideration.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just I direct you guys to my screen. I share with you. So why did Baptist Housing choose to install a water detection system? And then I can touch base regarding the buildings too. 3 years ago, I went and looked at some of the statistics of our buildings and saw, I had in that couple year span, 18 floods in Vancouver and the Victoria areas alone. And that's worked out to about 17 buildings. of those, when we were looking at this, our deductible was $2,500 of a flood incident. This was 3 years ago. Since then, as for all of you too, the rates have gone up dramatically. So we're fortunate still. We were up until this past year at 15,000. But I had 5 claims that cost approximately 65,000. That was unbudgeted expenses. At the dollars of that, at $15,000 a claim, that's $270,000, which you guys probably agree with me. That's pretty hard to do out of operations budget, and it's unbudgeted, right? So that's really why we started looking. And I know, talking with Marsh, there looks like there's even going to be more increases. So preventing that by doing a system like this, for us, just made complete logical sense. Yes, we're paying something up front, and unfortunately, Francois will speak onto it, but they also have financing programs and stuff like that. So for a smaller society, it might be something that you guys look at. We took it on ourselves as just internally at doing these bigger projects, but it definitely for us was very, very much needed. Now going to the buildings, we were unique in these 2 buildings is because we had to do repiping because the pipes themselves were faulty. Those were from the copper lines back in the 20 years ago, actually. Both buildings are 20 years old, and the copper lines were weeping and leaking through pit holes and all that. So we had to do that anyway. So this just worked out really well for us to do it together. But we do have some other buildings that we are working on, one high-rise building and another wood frame building, 4-story, that we're going to do the retrofit version, which is it's according to Francois and seeing the system now installed, we can do that without any difficulty, for sure. Does that answer your question a bit, Andrea?
It does. I'm going to fire off some specifics. We have 18 buildings with 2 more under construction. So we're in the 700+ unit range. So we're no longer small potatoes. We're sort of growing quickly. But I have a lot of questions, so maybe I'll just connect with Francois instead of hijacking the whole event here.
Yeah, and we can definitely talk after. I can share with you a bit more about some of the stuff we're doing as well. And I'm sure Francois would be available. So that's great. So I'll just go back to a bit of Mauricio. I guess you have control over it again now, right?
Give me 1 second.
Because mine's not moving now.
Let me share my screen here. Okay, I just have to go.
So in speaking in regard to the hot water tank, for us in some of our buildings, we're in the same situation where we have a hot water tank per suite. In those cases, we can put one valve, but when we have a centralized system, we have to do a hot and a cold. So in this case, this building was a hot and cold. And that's why you see that. So a little more expensive to do 2 valves. But again, that's just the way the buildings are designed, and to kind of go with that. So
sorry to interruption. Is this the right slide?
No, let's continue down, go down.
Down?
Keep next. Next. So that I go back 1.
Okay.
This one. So I don't think this is in the order I sent it, but that's okay. So getting to what the system looks like to us after it's been installed, we can see every single controller through the cloud-based technology, and we can see if it's online. We can see the temperature of the sensors in a given room. and that's kind of interesting for us from an energy data point of view. So next slide. Yeah. So when we did it, we wanted the control over each suite. It also gave us the ability, obviously to identify through notification through the cloud of some water being detected, and without affecting another suite, which for our residents was, a wellness thing that we considered important. Next slide. Again, that kind of touched on that. Next. I think there's a picture. So the system for us, again, we did it through the hallways instead of the suites in the closets because it gave us more control. Next. So of that picture I showed you a little while ago with the long list, when I click on any of those, this pops open and I can see the actual controller, the view of the controller with the 3 sensors, as well as that it's open right now. And then also it gives me ability to see if the battery is starting to falter or anything like that, so we can see and be notified of that as well, which is, and again, a handy feature to track. Next. And then it also has alarm journaling, so we can go back and I can export it into Excel and I can do some analysis on what's going on, so that I found it useful in case of, say, we had a cleaning team going in or there was someone in a suite. Why is that one going off all the time? Is it the actual system that's a problem, or is there something happening in the suite? And so that was a really good ability to kind of use the data to understand what was happening, because we in Abbotsford at the site, we were having some sensors go off, so we wanted to know why, and we were able to fine tune that in discussions with the team out there. But I can see all that remotely, which is awesome. Next. And so we also are able to set up the notification to go to any email address or a phone, a text, or through the smartphone, you have the ability to see it as well with the notifications. So for us, that again gives us quick knowledge of what's happening, and we can see it from anywhere, which is great. And next.
I think Andrea has another question.
Sorry. I don't know if anyone here works with our Corey. Can this be dovetailed with our Corey? And because what our Corey is our management system for our tenants and our units, and that would be very helpful because it could potentially pull data from the units, so it could actually be connected with that, or if it's possible. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, we if I can answer, we could look at it and work with. We already have some discussions within BT and PHA if we can connect, but for sure we have it on our cloud. So the information is available. It's a matter of sharing it with them so that they can somehow include it inside their menu so that your people can access it through that platform. But ours is for now it's totally independent, but we have the flexibility of being able to share it with whoever needs to have access to it.
Yeah, and I think I've talked to Francois' technical team regarding that too, because we have an internal program for all of our sites in regard to maintenance requests. And if we can have this automated to notify us that way into that program, say for battery changes or that kind of thing. So that's something that and that's where it's kind of really interesting and supportive from Water-Protec. They're versatile in that way where they can help us and we find solutions in that regard. So, so we're working on that. And I think that definitely sounds like a possibility for us with our program. So I would think it would work with your program as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass this information into Ian and Jackie, Andrea, so they know, and so they will be happy to hear about that, and they can probably provide more information for you related to the synchronization between our Core and Water-Protec.
Great. Okay, next. So again, like it's shared, we can use smartphones. So our maintenance guys all have their smartphone and they're notified. You can actually even close and open the valve through the smartphone. So there's the remote control as well as the smartphone, as well as on the actual controller, it has the ability to open and close it. The great thing that we did find for us, we centralized all of our remote controls into one place because we're fortunate at these two buildings anyways, not all of our buildings, but these two have a concierge or an RSA that's stationed at a desk for most of the day and evening, and they can go and help if there were to be an alarm set or if the sensor got set off, then they can go and actually check on it, see that there's no flood incident or what happened. It's something, and then they can actually reopen the valve after a 1 minute delay, which, you know, right there and then that saved us thousands of dollars if that wasn't to be that they couldn't even see it. So
for example, on Andrea's building, where you have a hot water tank, within 6 seconds the valve would be closed. So you know, a ball valve needs to just have the time to do its closing, but that's the number of seconds that it takes. So it's even less than that. But
I'd be curious, have you done any of these on any of the new shelter housing complexes?
Yes, yeah. You know, I have. You know, after Sean, there we're going to give you. I don't know if you know Susan Snell.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Susan with Red Door. They have a brand new building they just completed where the system is installed, and it's much easier. I mean, if you do it in a new construction, you use the local plumber that's the base building. You use the electrician as well, and then the only thing we sell you is the product per se, and then the connectivity side. Okay, so it makes a project very much realizable. And I tell you, Aviva was with us during BC Housing. Everybody was present. We did a pilot project, and Susan already saved some serious money with some of the detection. So
okay,
we have a testimony from her a little bit behind.
I've got two buildings that they're both just starting construction. So you and I need to chat. I sent you a thing in the chat message.
Yeah,
I'm going to leave shortly.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Very exciting. Yes.
Okay, next, Mauricio. So for us, this is where we just got a cabinet and we ID'd each of the remote controls, and our team can go and grab it and reopen it. Again, we have, you know, there's 3 ways of doing it. So we just wanted to centralize and control the remote controls. And next, so in this building in Abbotsbury, we installed 80 of these controllers. It's a 61 suite building, plus we did our common area laundry rooms and common area washrooms, lounges, and anywhere where there was sources other than the commercial kitchen. We didn't do the commercial kitchen, but we could have. There's valves. We can go up, I think Francois can confirm, but I think it can go up to 4-inch valves. So that's, you know, for us, that gives us the flexibility. But we had floor drains in the kitchen, so we didn't feel we needed to have that extra protection from there. So
try to imagine a 4-inch valve, the size of it, and it's still very functional because we have a booster relay that can give enough energy to the valve to open and close, because the pressure that's inside the pipe is a lot well, it's a lot bigger than if you close a 3/4-inch valve. But you know, that's the sort of thing that this cabinet is something that is out of the ordinary, which is great because it saves on health and safety as well, because they don't have to go on the ladder. They can just use the remote control. But the good thing is once there was a detection, the valve is already closed. So there's no more damage that is created. So when they go, they can walk up to the the particular unit and find out what has happened. Then from the remote control, reset it and go away. So
yeah. Next. So some other benefits, and one more, yeah. So we're able to see the temperature of the sensors throughout the building, and it helps us inform us of, energy efficiencies that we're trying to accomplish with our buildings. We do benchmarking, and we're trying to keep track of our building in the suites and in the common area. So that helps us. We also feel it's been a great benefit to our residents and families' peace of mind to have this protection. It's a very stressful thing for residents, as you guys all know, but also the residents around them. They feel very guilty if they cause 2 or 3 floors of damage, and they it really hurts them emotionally when that happens. And we have some residents, I'm sure like you guys, that it'll happen 3-4 times in a year, the same resident. And it's just, this has been such a peaceful mind part of our wellness for our residents. We're very grateful from that point of view. And finally, the other area, and we were having some serious challenges in Abbotsford at this building with cross-connect issues where the hot and cold were mixing. And we spent months and months, almost 6 to 7 months, and with different contractors trying to figure out where this cross-connect was happening. And we just couldn't figure it out. It was somewhere in a wall, but there was, and it sounds like it had been happening for years, even before we bought the building. So being able to isolate areas of the building down to each suite, we're able to protect the building, but also figure out and diagnose issues that are going on within the building and in the suites and that kind of thing. So we really found that that's a very good added protection. Next.
Another advantage is that all the certified installation that we're doing, and that's something with BC nonprofit that we want to maintain, is that we have certified installers in BC, and they can have access to the actual cloud base to help the resident operations manager or maintenance manager. If for example he's away and he's not available, we can help at a distance. Sometimes it's just batteries that need to be replaced or something of that nature, or he's close by so he can drop in and help the local management of the building. So it's something that we're developing. The more we're growing, is we can cover just about every area of where societies are, and that's key, because it's called a 24/7 service that is over and above the crew that's already within each building. So.
Yeah, I'll like to add to that too. And for us in our installations, even during the installation, Adam, who's with the Water-Protec here in BC, they were very responsive to dealing with things as they were coming up for our residences through the process, because the painters would move something or do something and a bit of dust got on a sensor or something. So he was able to address those very quickly and respond and make sure that we were always protected. And so, yeah, we're grateful for Adam and his response time, and having that certified installer here in BC dealing with this stuff was great, because doing it over the phone sometimes is just not as good as having someone in person helping us. So, yeah. And they're already now moved. They're in Vancouver working on the next project for us. Yeah. So thank you for that
absolutely.
too.
It's a big plus, because everybody's got their own issues, but it's good to have. That's what I call service, and that's what we want to do for the societies that are part of BC and PHA. I mean, we want to make this a success. We know it's all societies together. When they negotiate, a lot of them negotiate their insurance deals with. So the fact that we are supporting them service-wise with the cloud, with the 24/7, with local and certified installers is making a lot of difference. We can help a lot more than just selling a system and not being involved. And on a yearly basis, what's important is we try to certify the systems as if they were originally installed, and so you continuously have the system fully certified, and for a very limited cost we can do that. So these are some of the things that it's optional, but it's very strongly recommended, because it's the cost of 1 hour. I mean, it's the cost of a service call, okay, and you've got the whole year of resting in your mind that the system has been recertified.
I think Andrea, you had a question again.
Yeah, I've actually got two. Do you have a certified installer on the Vancouver Island?
On the what?
Do you have a certified installer on Vancouver Island?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And the other question is batteries. We have so much going that have to be changed with batteries and stuff like that. Yeah. What are we talking about? What sort of batteries and how often? I know it was very operational, but it's a pain in the neck to get into suites.
Okay, right now we're up to between 24 to 36 months. Okay, in anywhere between that range. So you can be resting that it's always depending on how they are solicited. So if you have 3 water damage or 3 water detection in one circumstance, you might say, well, okay, I'm going to change the batteries for that particular unit so that I don't have problem with that, even though the system catches low batteries, because the way it works is that there's a notification that's been sent out, and the batteries, when they reach the 3 volt level, they will close the valve automatically. So they will tell you that, listen, you better change your batteries, otherwise you don't have any more water. And when nothing is happening, it does close the valve.
Okay, so, perfect. It's foolproof.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Not the whole building, just the unit.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
And I would just want to say thank you so much. I have to take off, but thank you very much. Really appreciate this.
Okay, well, we appreciate your questions and whatnot.
Any other questions from the participants?
Yeah, I think Damien had one. Anyone there?
Is it working? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Damien.
Oh, there we go. How often do the sensors need to be replaced and rechecked?
Well, the sensors are probably as good as your alarm clock. They don't need to be changed unless they are abused by not being maintained properly, and if the batteries are not replaced, it's like anything else. If you don't maintain it, they might have to be replaced. But other than that, I would say that you don't have to touch the sensors other than the yearly maintenance of changing the batteries or verifying the status of the batteries. That's all you need to do for probably the next 10 years.
And what kind of batteries do you guys use?
Well, it's the 2432. It's two cell batteries that are within each of the sensors, and you have 1 9-volt that's inside the control panel.
Okay. So they're just little watch batteries in the actual sensors.
For the sensors.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other question?
I've got one for Francois.
Yes.
It's Steve here.
Yes, Steve. Yes.
How big are those sensors? I've seen pictures. They don't look very big. They look kind of flat. The one thing that we would be concerned about is residents potentially tampering with them or moving them. Yes.
What we do is that, Steve, we have it's like we install the sensor in the right location with the two metal pods on the on where they need to be, and then we have like a little, let's call it a bracelet that goes over the sensor where we fix it to the floor so they don't move it. That's the, and you can access it if you push it down and you want to remove it to let's say change the batteries. But this particular bracket is making it foolproof that they won't move it around. And depending on when you're installing, we even have a new version of sensors that are, if somebody moves the sensors, you will know. That's up to where we're at now in our technology.
So Francois, were you going to share any pictures or video or anything regarding the F series that you're bringing out? Because I know we have the original series, but there's a new one coming out that has even more.
I do, but let's say that right now where it's just a brand new product, but this is it right here. Okay. The sensors are a little bit different. The panel is a little bit different. The valve is just about the same. So we have this new technology, which is pretty much the same software will be available on both the E series and the F series, but there's little changes that have been made to for the sensors, the way they're hooked up to the floor, that sort of thing. But in general, this particular version, you can even hook up flow meters to it as well. But what we're doing right now is that at a distance, we can now upgrade the software just like we can do for your TV. Let's say you have Shaw, I think in BC, you know, where you can choose some different options. In this case, it would be us just putting up the new software inside the equipment. So all that said, we continuously well, I must say one thing. We're up to the golfer that plays probably has reached a level of 72, 73 and wants to go below 70. So there's less changes that we make, but they're well thought, and they're based on experience. And the good thing to it, they give us the opportunity to get a lot of statistics down to the insurance companies as well. The more systems that we have installed, the more statistics that we can provide to them, so that they lower their claim, not their claims, but their premiums and their deductibles. And that's really what this software is bringing us on the cloud. It's the data that goes with it.
Francois, if there are no more questions, I'm going to keep going through the presentation.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning before, but I think Sandra, whatever her name, she left. But Red Door has had the Water-Protec system in their new building, Mike Casa at 2425 St. Catharines in Vancouver. That was substantially completed in August. In August, they had a leak in the dishwasher, and the system shut off the water down in the unit and sent a message to the property manager and operations manager. The system stopped a potential claim for water damage over a few floors with minor drying and repairs of the leak. We had no further issues. I mean, that was an odd place where there was no, they couldn't, the way that the leak happened, it was leaking towards the, getting into, in between the floors, and it would have leaked below versus just a puddle per se around the dishwasher. So Susan's team was very, very happy about that, in the sense that they really did save a major claim there. So that's a typical example, but that's Red Door Society, a new building where we were involved during the construction. We installed the system with Adam and his team to cover all of the, I think it's 58 suites, if I remember right. And you know, all the systems are connected, and you know, we have them online with us, so we really work with them to until such time as they really manage the system 100% by themselves. Next. Service contract, well, again, this is something that's individually discussed, but what we're looking at, because we have certified installers in BC or anywhere in Vancouver or in Victoria, we can work out a service contract so that we take control of the replacement of the batteries, making sure the system is fully functional. We recertify it for Marsh and Aviva, whoever else is insuring your properties, to make sure that they know that the system is as it was installed. Because you're buying this, but for many years to come, you just don't want to find out that in 3 years' time you got to change the system again. That's not our focus has been the long term. And even though a system is the versions that are out there right now, we have some that are 6-7 years old already, so it's not an issue with regards to that. So manufacturer is behind their products. We take also photos of all where the sensors are located, so we have that in our database, so we can really help in any way, shape, or form for whatever happens. Next. And again, we can provide the statistics from periods to periods. If there is certain trends that are happening, the same type of the same unit that gets bumped around or it has more incidents, we can track down whatever happened, and we can always drill down, and that's the advantage of having data. Next. Another point is you can have numerous buildings all on the same platform for the operations manager. Like, for example, Sean, eventually, if he has these 25 buildings on the system, well, you can have access to the 25 buildings and on his own screen. So he can see if there is any urgent matters first, and then if he wants to drill down and look at any of the systems that he has, he can do that from a distance.
Yeah.
Next. Same thing. You can see each panel each control panel, and you always see if the valve is open or closed at any time. So it's very neat, and SMS and notification are working just instantly as soon as there is detection or if something happens. Next. So we cover senior residents, nonprofit organization, commercial properties. We have a whole residential side, but when it comes down to BC nonprofit, it's mostly what we consider commercial, because if it's rental properties, it's commercial. But we do have a high-end housing section that we do for the other insurance companies. Some of those houses could have in BC up to 45, 50 sensors inside the home. So and they have different floors, different basements. So our connectivity is very solid within those installations. Next. Just to give you an idea of the types of buildings that we have done. I mean, you can tell that just the one on the first page at the left, we have more than 700 units installed on that building, and it's like an L-shaped sideways building, and it's got water lines. We call them risers at different ends of the building. So we have to install 4 valves in each unit in order to perform that, but it went very well. And we have all those units connected, and they're very happy with it. We're actually doing the service contracts right now on the 350 condos. So they are very much, and this is a building that had about 23 water claims a year. Okay. And they were putting that underneath the carpet in their operations budget, because they were so afraid of, and their premium, the deductible was almost up to, well, I shouldn't say it, but it's more than, I'm going to say more than $250,000. So it didn't take much to justify the installation of the system. Different different type of architectural on the buildings. Next. Very prestigious buildings in Montreal, condos in BC, in Quebec, where the Laurentians are. I mean, the 2 stories, 10 stories, whatever. I mean, we can connect anything. We have booster relays for the RF signal, and we have also antennas that we put between the top floor and, let's say, the control switch, where we send the information to the cloud. So I don't care if there's 86, there's the 25 story, it still is very simple to do for us. Next. Other testimonies, but these you can read them at your will. We don't want to hold you, and I don't want to read them for you. They're very good testimony, and people are happy about our system. Next. I think that's pretty much it, Mauricio.
Okay, thank you, Francois. Thanks, Sean. If you have any questions, please, this is the right time to ask them. While we have Sean and Francois here with us live. Any questions? You can type it on the chat feature if you don't want to open your microphone, or you can open your microphone and start asking those questions. They will be happy to answer all your questions at this point.
But I think Mauricio has my phone number. Don't hesitate to call us. We're there to answer your questions, and we have our local installer. We can go and take a look at your building, make a quote for you guys. Those that have new construction, I mean, don't wait, because this is just it's ridiculous, the cost of the money that can be saved on the new construction. If we're there at the start, we can use, like I said, the base plumber, the base electrician, so we eliminate a good part of the cost. So the only thing you have is the cost of the system, which there is an agreement with BC and PHA. You guys have got a very, very good price on the product, which is the best there is in the country. So, I don't think there is, the justifications can be very easily made for your, either your board. I think it will make a lot of sense. And for retrofit, we also have the solutions for it. And I think it will make your insurance company very happy, and at the same time lower your premium rates and deductibles. Maybe not on the first year if you had 3 damage in the last 6 months, but I would say within a year or so there will be a lot more negotiations happening from your broker.
Any comments that you would like to add, Sean, at this point?
Yeah, I think that's very much what's happening for us too, is talking with Marsh. We kind of have to show that we have not been having claims, and so they're very excited to see this happening for us, and talking with our rep there. It looks good for us that this is helping us a great deal. We had another flood. I had another flood yesterday in Vancouver. So I almost get calls weekly for floods. So we really want to be aggressive for ourselves to kind of slow the bleeding that's been going on for us for the last while in regard to this. So this is for us a great solution.
Okay.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, oh, sorry, Francois.
No, I was going to say, I hope I answered some of the questions. Not the participants will be what you had, I guess, put forward with regards to this webinar, which was become familiar with the insurance challenges. I think we covered that, learn about water damage risk mitigation strategy. Well, obviously it includes Water-Protec. I think you understand a little bit the basics of the system and what's involved when the system is installed with Sean's presentation. And we wanted to you to understand that you're not left alone. There there's local certified installers that are there for you guys to have access to if you want to go with us.
Thank you,
And-
Francois.
And you have a partner with BCNPHA for many years already.
Thanks, Francois. I will now put the evaluation survey link on the chat. Please fill out and give us your feedback. This is very important for us so we can keep providing this type of sessions. And we want to hear from you. What do you think about the sessions? And if there is something else that you would like to know. So the evaluation is on the chat. I would like to thank Francois and Sean for the valuable information that it was shared today. It was an excellent presentation with a topic that is very much hot right now. And for your time today, we would also like to thank the attendees for your questions. Also, as mentioned, we will be sending the link to this recording and the visual recording piece to all participants within the next few days, next week, the latest. So, and also the recording will be hosted on the BCNPHA website under the education and webinars. And one more reminder, registration for Housing Central Conference is open now. Please go to the website, register yourself, and book your sessions. Thank you, and thanks again, and take care, everyone. Thank you
Thank
again,
you.
Sean and Francois. Thanks
Thank
to
you very
everyone.
much. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.